Hey guys, Blade Check 101 coming at you with another knife review. Today I want to talk about the Columbia River Knife and Tool SPEW, S-P-E-W. CRKT has teamed up with Alan Foltz to bring us this knife. It's a SPEW stands for Small Pocket Everyday Wharncliffe. Basically, this is a knife you can either just stick in your pocket, and the other meaning of the Small Pocket Everyday Wharncliffe is that it's a Wharncliffe designed for someone who doesn't have an awful lot of money. It's essentially a budget knife, meaning your pockets aren't too deep, as is the case with a lot of people these days. This is a great option for those of us who feel that way, and who are going through that right now, like most of America. This is most of the world, for that matter. This is the sheath that it comes with. There's a couple different ways to carry this knife. You can obviously do the neck knife option. It comes with a length of paracord, and you can use that to, go through the holes here or whatever, do some like weaving or whatever if you want. You can use a steel bead lanyard, and then the other option that I have found quite favorable is it comes with this belt loop, and it comes with the washers and screws and all that you need to attach this to either the bottom part here, and then every hole spacing up here is the perfect spacing for for this setup. Basically how I've been doing it is I've had it right here, and I've set it up like this for cross draw for my right hand, or just for a reverse grip with my left hand. And that basically works for me because that way I can get at it with either hand. You can watch my centerline carry video for more details on that. So let's take a look at the blade. And as I do that, I want to just mention that as a neck knife, this knife is absolutely fantastic as far as its retention. Very little rattle, hardly at all actually. You can't shake it out of there. There's no way for this knife to actually come out of its sheath unwanted. I've been carrying it for a while now, and both as a neck knife, I've carried it on my belt, and I have also carried it just in my pocket. And in all three ways, it has been absolutely perfect for as far as retention goes. The sheath is excellent retention. You can see the sheath is all scarred up from my pockets and everything being in my pockets. The with all the crap I have jingling around in there. But the retention is perfect, like I said. Basically, you have this thumb ramp here, you just push, and it shoots right off. It's absolutely perfect that way. Okay, so the blade. This blade is 3 inches long, and it's made of, I think, 7CR13 MOV, which is a lower mid-grade blade steel. It's kind of close to AUS 8. It's got a little bit less edge retention than AUS 8, but not by too much. And it's really easy to sharpen, especially since it's a Wharncliffe blade. You're talking about just, either forward or backward swipes on a sharpening stone. You don't have to work on any curves or anything like that. It's just a straight edge. We have some jimping on the back here that's quite usable. It's very, it locks in really nicely. And the other thing, now that I'm talking about the blade, that I've gotten a lot of questions about whenever I show this knife to people, is that blade tip. Get this dark background on there so we can focus. You can see that tip is extremely thin. Now, people have been wondering, people have asked me, is that tip just going to snap right off? The answer is, of course, yes, if you abuse it, but no, if you just use the knife what a knife is supposed to, as a knife is supposed to be used, and that is for cutting purposes. People say not to use this knife even as an EDC carry knife, and I have been. I've cut through just a ton of cardboard boxes, the double thickness cardboard used for shipping and everything. I've cut through that. I've done some stabbing tests through that. I've cut rope. I've cut zip ties. I've put this knife through, not a lot, but pretty, a good deal. And especially for the price point, you can't really go wrong. If you plan on prying with it, then yeah, it's probably going to break, or bend or whatever. And, yeah, if you baton through wood with this thing and you really start wailing on that tip, you're probably going to break the tip. So but again, if you use it as a knife is designed to be used as a cutting implement as opposed to a pry bar, then you'll be just fine. So as an EDC blade, fantastic. As an outdoor knife, not so great. Out of scale from 1 to 10 as an outdoor blade, I'd probably give this thing a 5, because there are some ways you could use it just as a cutting implement. But if you want to do any skinning or anything like that, this probably is not the best choice. And I say that about any Wharncliffe blade. As far as EDC goes, I'd give this probably an 8 out of 10. The only downside that I can see really is the blade steel, and that's really not that big of a deal for me. And then another small hit, just in case you ever did need to, for some reason, try to pierce into something a little bit harder than, say, cardboard or whatever, then that tip may be too fragile. But again, if you're going to use it like a knife should be used, I would say that this is pretty good. So an 8 out of 10 isn't too bad for that. The handle scales are G10, and it's like a brown greenish. I don't even know how to really describe that. It's really good looking though. See if the camera really doesn't do it justice. It's got a bunch of different colors and everything in it. It looks really nice. This patterning that you see going crossways like this is actually texturing. You can see it there. It looks really, really good on the blade, or on the handle rather. The patterning on the handle reflects that very nicely. You have the 3, removable pins here, screws rather, and you can take those out. If you need to, if you want to customize your own scales or do whatever, you can absolutely do that. It comes with this little fob or lanyard, basically because, and it's just like the CRKT Minimalist, which Alan Foltz also designed. The handle is a little bit small. I have small to medium-sized hands for a guy, and it comes to right towards the end there. So that little fob, especially for someone with bigger hands, that's really going to be helpful. It's comfortable for me. I can imagine it would absolutely be comfortable for someone with larger hands as well. I've had my brother hold this, and he's got mammoth hands, so and he really liked it. The fob is just it's kind of attached in a weird way on here. They basically just drilled a couple holes in here. There's a small hole drilled in the tang of the blade, and they just snuck that. They just kind of snuck that into there. If you plan on removing this, keep in mind that if you ever want to reattach it, if you ever want to make your own, you'd have to remove the scales, I think, and then you'd have to, or you just snake a thinner string through. And it'd have to be a pretty thin cord. This is, like a trapping cord, basically. So yeah, we're talking about probably an 1/8 of an inch, give or take, on the thickness of the blade, right at the handle, and then obviously it doesn't have a distilled taper. In fact, that's a definite benefit of that, is they kept a lot of the strength in by doing a partial hollow grind on that blade. We have the logos here: CRKT, Foltz SPEW, and then the number on here, you can't read it. I think it's just the number of this particular one is 2388 on there. The gripping though of the handle is really, really nice. I mean, with a knife this small, you want as much purchase as you can possibly get, and they really milked every little bit of grip you can get out of this, and it feels really, really good. But again, you have different ways to carry this knife, and like I said before, I carry this just in my pocket. Plain and simple, in my pocket. There's no, ifs, ands, or buts. The nice thing about it is that it's as long as my pocket is deep. So the fob is actually the only thing sticking out. So if I need to get the whole knife out, I can just reach down, grab the fob, and I'm good. Usually I just reach in, grab it, pop the sheath off, and then, I'll usually, to put it back, if I have to do it like kind of discreetly, I'll usually just kind of cover up the tip with my finger like this, and just really carefully try to find, the sheath like that, and just put it back like that. Or, I'll just take the sheath out of my pocket and put it back that way. The other option, of course, if you're going to put it in your pocket, is to do like a static cord type thing. Basically, loop that around your belt after it's snaked through here, and even if you yank it out, in like a defensive situation, you still have you won't lose the sheath, it'll still stay on, but once you've pulled out after the length of this, the sheath will just pop right off. This is, the only downside to the clip, rather to the loop that they did, is that it's not a clip at all. You actually have to, you could do it that way, but it wouldn't work terribly well. You actually have to take your belt off or put it on, and put it on to attach the knife. And there's no way to quickly get the knife off unless you undo your belt. So that's one, kind of downside, I guess. But it's such a small knife, I really don't know why you would immediately have to do that for any reason, unless, for some reason you're carrying this illegally or something, or if you have to go into a place where you can't carry a knife. In that sort of case, I would just leave the knife itself in the car, and just, if you need to get out quickly or something, that'd be probably the easiest way to do that. The shape of the handle, quickly, is really, really nice. You have this little finger choil here that your finger just rests in really nicely, and then you have this area right here for these two fingers, and then it just tapers down really, really nice for this last finger here, and it just kind of locks in. Getting a good hammer grip on it is not that easy, and I'm not sure. It's certainly doable, but it's after a long while of cutting like that, I don't think it'd be too comfortable. But like this, it's absolutely ideal. So there you go, guys. It's it is what it is. You can find this knife for under $30 easily online. Knife Center, Blade HQ, they all have it, for a decent price. It's definitely a good way to go if you're looking for a small Wharncliffe knife, and that absolutely will not break the bank. And it's available, and I think it's going to stay available for a while now. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know, and have a great rest of your day.